everyone, back to another week. Welcome back. Thank you for joining. If you don't know me, my name is Ginny. I'm rebuilding my life at 62 years old. My husband died suddenly 12 weeks ago, and that was after moving countries, and we're just getting back out there. So one of the things that disappears is your network. So you have your people, the people that you were working with, your familiar neighbors. Work took up a big portion of my life, probably takes up a fair amount of yours as well. And interestingly, that all disappears. So when you're starting over again, that's completely gone. Even your partner's friends, people that you would casually meet in the street, all of that is gone. And so how do you start with a new network when you're new everywhere? And as you can see, I finally have furniture. The last time I saw my furniture or anything was on the 4th of February. So just a few days ago, the truck arrived and everything was here. And now that summer's here, I'm not going to wait anymore to build my network. I've been thinking about how do I do that. I've talked about the rules in the past, the things that I'm trying to rebuild. And it is very much like, back when you were a young adult and you were out on your own and doing your own thing, you were learning things, but you had a network. You had people that you were hanging out with, and you were all experiencing things similarly at the same time. If you were to look back, there was a lot of newness there. So you had someone to share that, oh my gosh, I didn't know that's what you were supposed to do. I don't have that. So I've been really contemplating, what am I going to do? How do I rebuild that network? And what do I need that network to look like? It's not just when you have babies and you are part of a parental group where you've got babies of the same age and you're doing similar things. I think this can be somewhat the same, but what is it that I'm trying to accomplish? So interestingly, I've met, I still think that, in Newfoundland, this town that I live in is quite possibly the best town in the entire world. It's amazing. People stop by, they look. Even yesterday, I was cutting the grass. Took me 7 hours to whippersnip my yard, and my neighbors came out and said, "You've been at this all day. Come over here. You need to sit down, have a glass of water, and just relax. We don't want to call 911." That was lovely. So I did. I went, I sat down, had a glass of water with them. That's part of the network. That's building up that neighborly piece. The second thing is, how do you start doing that? When my husband passed away, people knocked on my door that I didn't know, and they brought food and they left phone numbers, and there's still one lady I haven't written a thank you to, and I couldn't pick her out of a lineup. I can tell you she brought me a chicken, and I keep asking everybody that I meet, are you the lady that brought me a chicken? Because I really want to say thank you. It was so lovely of her to do that. So here's what I did. Because I met all these people and they left me their phone numbers, I screwed up a bit of courage. And I called one of them and just said, "Hey, would you like to go for coffee sometime?" And that coffee turned out to be with someone who is very good at volunteering. They've had a full and long career. They still work, even though they are of retirement age. And she said to me, "Hey, there's a big festival coming up. What are you doing?" And I said, "I don't know." And she said, "Well, there's some volunteer spots. Would you be interested in volunteering?" And I said, "Yeah, what do I have to do? It's not illegal and it's not immoral. I'm in." So as it turns out, and I know anybody out there who's done this before will go, "Ginny, it's not that hard. You've served food." I've never tended bar. I've never done that for people. I've hosted people in my home. I've hosted people when we've had corporate events and we've been the sponsor, but I haven't really done that. So she's asked me if I would like to do that. And I said, absolutely. There's a couple other events just like that have come up, and I have put my hand up to say, if you're looking for a volunteer, I'd be happy to do it. I've not done that before, so you'd have to show me, but I'm in for a few hours here or there to do that. Another good place to volunteer is at the church. The church never has enough volunteers, and there's always somebody who needs help somewhere. So just like people did when my husband passed, there were a list of people who must have been like a telephone tree, like back in the day when you had kids and you had to make phone calls. I think it works similarly to that. and they call and they say, can you do this? Can you check on a person? The other thing is, in my town, we have a number of aged care homes. So they're looking for people to just come and visit, to maybe sit, have a word, listen to somebody who's had an amazing life, who doesn't have anybody anymore to listen to them. There's any number of volunteers. Go to the school. They're always looking for crossing guards, people to help out with that. So it's a way to get back into the community. And for me, this community has given me so much in such a short period of time. I wanted to make sure that I volunteered. The next thing is, you're volunteering, you're giving back to your community. You don't have to go on a job interview. It's a little bit of an easier, less stressful way to get into something. Volunteers, can't give them a lot of grief as long as they turn up and try. And it's a good way to meet people. And you're meeting people who have similar interests. And so that similar interest could potentially lead to something else. And in fact, mine did. It has worked into a phone call from somebody who asked if I would be willing to perhaps help on another project, which was right up my alley. And I said, of course I'd love to help, like sign me up. So it's really working out. And if you think about it, this time of year, the middle of summer, people are on holidays, people are coming back, there's still festivals, lots of things going on. And I don't know where you are, but in Newfoundland, it is full on in the summer. And I think somebody said to me, you don't move to Newfoundland for the weather. And I thought, yeah, that's right, because the winter we got here in March and it was pretty brutal. However, you move here for the people. And in the summer, there's always something going on and somewhere for somebody to get help. So it could lead into something else in the autumn, get you involved in the community. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that whole let's get involved and participate is really easy. Particularly, a lot of people assume that I am an extrovert. I'm not. My job when I was working full-time always required me to give presentations, to be a leader, to interact with a lot of people. My natural state is to be an introvert somewhat. I like my own company. I am exhausted after being with people. I need to be alone to recharge. So I still have that ability, and that's the one skill that business did teach me, was to get out there and start asking. So if you haven't had that opportunity, please get out there. I'm not telling you it's easy. I'm not saying that first step isn't going to be hard, that you're going to stumble over your words, but there's going to be somebody that you're speaking to or someone in that crowd who knows exactly how you feel, and they're going to reach out. Honestly, when you reach out to volunteer, they're going to reach back out. Even if the first person you're speaking with isn't as warm and fuzzy as you would need them to be, there will be somebody there who will be warm and fuzzy to help you along. And it's all those little things of getting out and being part of the community, meeting people. One of the things that they talk about when you are a senior, and I can't believe I'm using that word senior, I still feel like I'm not, is the older you get, that social connection not only is about quality of life, it's about your health. So people who aren't socializing, and that doesn't mean every morning you get up and you run yourself ragged. It means that you've got some plans and things to do. Just like we talked about last week, making a plan and looking forward to something. So now this volunteering, it's not every day. It's not 9 to 5, 5 days a week, or midnight to 8 a.m., that kind of thing. It fits in with my schedule, and it gets me out there. And it's still, because I'm meeting other people, frees me up to do coffee or to go exercise. So that's the next thing I've done is, and I'll talk about that in a later video, is I'm building a little gym in my basement, and it is not fancy, but some of the ladies that I've met, I thought it might be fun in the winter to get together 1 or 2 days a week. They could come and exercise. I'll put a TV down there. We could do Tai Chi or yoga. It's big enough for 3 or 4 of us. And we'll save the money. We'll come upstairs and we'll have coffee afterwards and just have a catch up. And I thought that would be really good. So if you're starting over like I am, whether that is through the loss of a partner, or you've moved, or you're divorced, or you've just, you've decided to retire and you don't have that same network, because it's a big shock to go from hanging out with your peeps at work who are still working and while they really liked you, they just aren't in the same mindset. Isolation can be hard. So please, if you're looking for someone to give you that little nudge, that little, come on, you can do it, please do. And leave me some comments and tell me how the nudge worked. You could say, Ginny, it was a total catastrophe. I thought it would be great volunteering. They were the worst people in the world. Well, at least you don't have to volunteer there again. But tell me how it went. If you don't do it, you'll never know. So yeah, with that, I hope you have a really good week. I'm not downplaying the journey that I'm on. I'm still have my up days and my down days. I am trying very hard to be resilient and to move forward and to set myself up for the years ahead so that I'm in a really good place. And it doesn't hurt that I have my things around me now. That makes me so much happier. So listen, have a super week. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Have a great day. See ya.